We have a really good question here relating to the price of being self-employed, and that's how I take this question. What is or what are some of the expenses related to this lifestyle and job? Joe, you want to take some of that?
Yeah.
And sorry to interrupt, but maybe we should just lay it out for everybody. Joe and I are both self-employed. I do photography full-time, and Joe is a dog trainer full-time. We don't run off to second jobs. This is what we've done for nearly 15 years. So, Joe, take it away. What
Well,
do expenses look like in our life?
well, I think that you can, put, and it's pretty simple to say there's a dollar amount to the expenses from the
Sure.
cameras and the equipment that you need to shoot and, maybe even a studio and a location. And for me, it's my dogs, it's the equipment, it's the travel, it's all that. So I think that's, kind of sums up like, yes, there are like dollar expenses to being self-employed, but I think the bigger thing is, the emotional and mental and physical toll that being self-employed takes on you, and you have to make sure that you take care of yourself and have things for you to take care of, not just giving to everybody else. Because I think that's the biggest thing is, my clients are pulling from me constantly. Your clients are, you're communicating with, people 24/7 almost. So I think that having, that emotional toll is a big expense. And physically, we really try and head into bed by 9:30 because we're spent, we're done. And we have to physically take care of ourselves because we are constantly going. Chris.
Yeah, some of the expenses that I think about especially play into the physical side of things, the mental and emotional side of life. You can get really worn out making decisions on a daily basis, and it sounds kind of funny, but at the end of the day, you're in bed 9:30, 10 o'clock. Sometimes that just doesn't leave. You wake up at 2 o'clock in the morning. There's many nights that happens. You get restless sleep. So it drains you. It can drain you mentally for the next day, and you hope that you can get a good night's sleep the following night. Um, and I would also say that you can self-medicate with alcohol or drugs or something like that, and you definitely want to stay away from that kind of stuff. But as far as financial expenses go, yeah, my equipment is all a financial expense, probably for our overall business. One of the biggest expenses we have is in mileage. We tend to drive anywhere from 75 to 100,000 miles every year, so that's a huge expense. The emotional side of what I do tends to be very taxing, telling stories that are deeply emotional to the people that I come in contact with for the editorial assignments for AQHA or something else. To to get you back to a point where you're able to create and be in a balanced state, you really need to take time for yourself and take time for each other as well, and find those moments where you can recharge. And that really comes not listening to news, being off of social media, and things like that.
Yeah, I think the other piece that maybe isn't talked about as much is understanding, in a family or in a relationship, whether you're married or single, you still have people that need your attention and need you, and you have a lot of other people that need you as well. That the expense of time that you forget sometimes that the people that are the closest to you need just as much time as the people that are, your clients and your customers. And my clients have, in the dog world, emotionally can take a toll on, you're in people's homes and you're kind of counseling them as well, that you forget sometimes that it's the time that you need to give to the people that help build you up and that keep you going.
Yeah, definitely true. One thing that I would add to that is this lifestyle isn't for everybody. If we're
Yeah.
guilty of something, I say guilty, for self-employed people out there in the world, if you're guilty of something, you're guilty of making it look easy.
Yeah.
That it's that iceberg metaphor that you only see the top of that iceberg, but underneath, there's 90% of everything else that's happening. So, know ahead of time that this lifestyle isn't for everybody, and you will pay a price in this lifestyle. Maybe you're a young mother or young father, and you have kids at home, and you want to be a self-employed photographer. I can guarantee you, or a dog trainer, you will pay the price, and that price will come at. If you want a successful business, it's going to be time away from your kids. It's going to be time away from home, and if that's not something that you can accept, then this lifestyle probably isn't for you. On the other hand, if you do go through with this, it's one of the most rewarding lifestyles that I have ever had.
Yeah, and I think I think that sums it up, Chris. It isn't for most people, and most people have a hard time understanding that. Oh, I want to be self-employed, so I'm home all the time, and but being home all the time doesn't mean that you're present all the time. So
absolutely, right.
Everybody sacrifices and everybody suffers a little bit being that way.
I sure do. Great question.
Yeah.
This question I'm actually going to upload to YouTube because it's rather long, but we'll do some snippets of it here on Tutorial Tuesday. Make sure to go check out the full answer on YouTube.